Hey guys, it's been a long time. So honestly, I didn't intend on never making another one of these videos. They just take a lot of work and I'm just busy with life. But I still do collect as much as ever. And let's see what's happened. I moved, as you can see. My space is entirely different than it used to be. Much bigger place. So I got myself a big office, designated office. Before it was in my bedroom. And slight backstory is actually work for Sideshow now. So I'll still be unbiased. Most of my collection is still Sideshow anyways. Yeah, so I'm an artist, collector, super big fan of comics, movies, all that kind of stuff. So if you guys haven't watched my past videos before, welcome. I'm not going to go over each piece too much because it'll take too long, and I've done it in other videos already. Unless it's a newer piece, I'll talk about it. So here we go. Start off, this is Hellboy Bust. It's one of my favorite pieces. It's my Chicago Cubs good luck hat. There you go. I keep these windows closed during the day. The sunlight would just absolutely murder these statues. So for you new collectors out there, make sure do not have sun on your statues because it will heat up the plastic, the PVC or the polystone, and it'll cause things to warp or lean. So this piece is awesome. It's a Prime 1 Batman. Really badass piece. Really big. I think it's the best piece that Prime 1 has done. I'm not a huge fan of all their statues. I think they've done the 2099 Spider-Man is great. This Batman is great. It's a Sideshow Deadpool bust. Badass piece. I love this thing. This is, for like Marvel or Deadpool fans, I actually think this is, I prefer this over any of the statues, the quarter scale by anybody, or small scale as well. I think this kind of encapsulates the character perfectly. It's a nice centerpiece as well, and it's done awesome. Badass sculpt, badass paint, everything. And busts in general are pretty expensive, but you know, I mean, all statues are expensive. It's pretty big too. It's, you know, it's about $1,000, but quarter scale statues are like $500 anyways. So getting that is like equivalent to like 2 pieces. I just got this thing in. This is like an old school piece of Bowen, Venom, and Spider-Man. I got it. It's pretty cheap. It's small. I'm just a huge fan of Venom. He's my favorite character, so it's hard to not buy everything Venom. This is a new Joker mask by Sideshow. This is really, it's a cheap piece, so it's easy on the wallet. It's a badass kind of supplemental piece to your collection. Really cool. Try to speed up a little bit. It won't take too long. Here's a Hulk life-size bust. This thing is amazing. You know, in pictures you can kind of, it looks, you know, this facial expression can be a turnoff for people, but I think it just adds to the comic book feel of it. Gives it a lot of pop. You can see the textures and the paint, man, it's badass. It's really a great piece. I think it doesn't get enough love because it's so unique. But I think it's, as a Marvel fan or a Hulk fan, it's a must-buy. It's the Wolverine Legendary Scale. This is an amazing, huge, expensive piece. It's not for everybody because it is big. It takes up a lot of space. Like I said, it's expensive. But as a Wolverine fan, and if you have a dedicated collection room, then it's a great piece to kind of, you know, to be a centerpiece. Add a giant pop of color as well. Because a lot of statues tend to be kind of dark, so it's black or grays, dark colors. So having this giant pop of yellow is really awesome. I've already done this in my old video, Apocalypse. It's one of my favorite characters. That was repainted by me. Here's Bane. This one of my favorite statues. If you're a Batman fan, this is a must-buy. If you're a Bane fan, then it's must-buy. It's really big, really freaking heavy. So make sure you got the space for that thing. Here's a Juggernaut Custom piece. It's really old. It's from like 2007 or something like that. It's like one of those Asian customs. It's super light. It weighs probably like 3 pounds. The paint apps aren't the greatest, but you know, from a distance, it's really awesome. It has great presence, and it's nice to have Juggernaut in the collection. There's Mystique to go along with it. She's only 5th scale, but it works really well with the Juggernaut because it makes him seem bigger. And it's just a really great piece too. You can get it for pretty cheap nowadays. Sorry about the blown out lighting there. Really nice piece. Here is Sentinel. I'll get in, kind of helps with the lighting so it's not as blown out. This is a fantastic statue. You know, there's certain statues that you own when you first buy it. You know, you're not like wowed by it at first, but over time it just grows on you and grows on you. This is one of those pieces. I don't see it ever leaving my collection. It's one of the last ones I would sell. As a huge X-Men fan, it's a staple in my collection. So yeah, if you guys can ever find it for a decent price, I'd definitely get it. Here's Red Sonja by Sideshow. This is sculpted by Will Harbottle. This is, to me, the best female statue to ever be released. I think that the sculpt is perfect. Paints, all that. I think it's just wonderful, wonderful statue. Just amazing, man. I mean, look at like the details of the way the ring is pressed up against her skin. And then the base and everything is super sick. It's awesome, awesome piece. This is Captain Marvel. This is a awesome statue as well. Man, since the last time I made a video, so much has changed, you know. I've sold, let's try to get closer so you guys can actually see some of the detail. I've sold and bought so many things since then. Kind of, you know, as a collector, there's things that you think you'd never sell, and then just, you know, stuff happens. Your taste changes. You want to buy new stuff, and you got to sell something, so you got to let stuff go. So it's tough to make those choices. But you know, I used to have those Star Wars Mythos pieces, and I sold those. I didn't think I ever would. I actually do kind of regret selling them because I think those pieces were amazing, but I love the pieces I have now as well. Here's XM Black Panther. It's the only XM piece I have left. It's probably the only one I intend on ever buying again. Not that I don't like XM, it's just they're expensive as an American buyer, so even this piece was expensive, but it's hard to resell because of the shipping cost to get to America. So if you ever want to resell, you're going to take a pretty big loss. So I don't want to take a loss on that, and I do like it. So it's sculpted by Daniel Bell, which badass sculptor. And great piece. And here is old school Sideshow Storm. I really like this statue. Really simple. It's pretty cheap to buy as well. Sculpted by Mark Newman. And here is the Sideshow Phoenix. Another really nice piece. Got in there, trying to get that lighting looking good. Those two are really great. Here's a Sideshow Red Skull. This is just a regular. I never really was like the EX that much, and plus I got a really great deal on this one. Yeah, man. Let's see if I can get in there, get some of these details. This is one of my wife's favorite statues. It's just, he looks like he's coming to life. This is sculpted by Martin Canal, and he is the best sculptor. So yeah, man, that piece rocks. Plus you can get him for a good deal. I mean, I wouldn't buy him just to buy him. Make sure you're actually a Red Skull fan. Or else it's probably one of those pieces you'd buy and then sell. This Punisher and Daredevil. This Punisher, to me, I've already done a full review on him, so he's badass though. One of my favorite statues. I mean, you could just tell, man. Look at this. Look at the sculpt on that. It's just, I think it's just one of the best statues ever made. Everything is sculpted, which I know a lot of people are a fan of. And the base, simple, but super effective. It's my favorite kind of base, just simple story, have some environment to it. Here's the Daredevil Pf. See, the base is really awesome on this piece. This is another piece that's really cheap to find. There's quite a bit of controversy over it. A lot of people don't like it. They don't like the pose. I'm a fan of it. I like the pose. I think it's a cool piece. It has good movement to it. Now, is it the best statue I own? No. But, you know, I don't think every statue needs to blow my mind. I think, you know, this is a great piece as a supplement to my collection. Good piece though. You probably get it for like $350 or something, or under 400 at least. Here's a Sideshow old piece, She-Hulk. That's cool. She's holding a parking meter. It's really, really fantastic statue. She's expensive, so unless you're like a Grail collector or really big She-Hulk fan, I would just wait for a new one, or don't buy it. It's pretty expensive to get. Here's the Sideshow Premium Format Spider-Man. This is my favorite Spider-Man that is out. I think it is the definitive Spider-Man for me. I think the base is awesome. Once again, there's some controversy. Some people don't like the base, the explosion effect. I like it. I think it, you know, it's animated. It feels colorful, alive, all that stuff. Let's see. I think it looks cool, man. No gripes against it. Alright. Here is Thanos on throne. This came out this year. This piece is awesome. This is just a regular. I missed out on the exclusive, but it's fine. I'm always like, I don't really care for too many switch outs anyways, because I tend not to switch my stuff out. So I don't, if it costs extra or I can't find an exclusive or it costs way more to get an exclusive, I'd rather just get a regular. Unless I can't live without that particular exclusive piece. But that's just me. As a Thanos fan or as a Marvel fan, I think this is a must-buy as well. I think this Thanos is badass. I've owned other Thanoses. This one I think is just a stellar piece, and it's always a standout for when guests come over. They are always immediately drawn to this. Turn this off so I don't forget. It's the thing with light ups. They're really cool, but I tend not to use them very often. There you go. Here is a custom Magneto. It's custom painted by my wife and I. This helmet is still a work in progress. I still have to finish painting it. It's just painted in the initial red coat right now, so it needs the purples and everything. This is very... it's not a perfect statue, but it's really freaking cool. It has tons of presence to it. So it's pretty blown out right now. It's a problem with the lighting in here sometimes. But yeah, okay, let's move on. This is the Sideshow, I think they're 5th scale Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's also one of my wife's favorites. I grew up on the Turtles, so these have tons of nostalgic value for me. These are all the exclusives. As you can see, these are really awesome, man. It's a nice way to kind of elevate the cartoony style of the Turtles without making it go full out Michael Bay. They have tons of character, and they're relatively cheap too. I mean, you could probably find them for, you know, like $350 each, even for the exclusives. Make for a really cool display. See, the detail and everything on them is awesome. Yeah, cool. Cool pieces. Here's some On the bottom here, these are these Marvel Bookends by Gentle Giant. Those are really freaking cool. I just got those actually. They're heavy as well. And they are limited edition to I think 4,000. But I use them for my comic book movies, Bookends. So one thing you might notice with my collection is I don't use the shelves on the bottom, and it's because I don't like having my statues on the floor. I just don't think it looks good display-wise. It's the worst angle to look at a statue, either really high or really low. I just don't think it looks good. So I like to try to get it off the ground a little. So even with these Bestas, what I do is I buy the half cubes and put them on the bottom and use them as risers, so that way the bottom shelf is still, you know, more than a foot off the ground. You see I did that with all these. And it's cool because then you can use them for storage. I put my comic books underneath, some small scale figures that I don't, you know, care as much about. And then I also I store pieces underneath as well, all the switch outs and everything. So you can see here, it's my Hellboy collection and BPRD books, and also just different Sideshow books. Sorry, cut out there. Okay, so yeah, it's different Sideshow books I have here. And let's move on. And here's my D12 case. This is from Ikea. Oh, and if you're wondering, my cabinets, this is a PAX. PAX comes in 3 different sizes. It's like one really skinny one, a really wide one, and a medium-sized. What I use is a medium-sized PAX on that side, a medium size here, and then a skinny one here. You know, the most flexible is to just go ahead and buy a giant PAX, but I tend to think it's too wide, and when you have more than 2 statues in a cube, I just don't think it looks good. I think it looks a bit too cluttered. And sometimes even having 2 in a cube looks too cluttered. This works perfectly because it's a small piece and a big piece. Or if they're complementary, you know, like the Punisher and the Daredevil, I think they work well. But then there's some pieces that actually look better in a small cube, like this red Sonja. She's not tall, or not too tall, so having it within a nice sort of refined space, I think it helps show off the statue better. So yeah, that's what I do. Let's move on here. It's Galactus. I think that is the definitive Galactus statue, so I will never need another one. I think it's perfect. I think I did a review on him as well. Maybe not, I don't know. There's a little Silver Surfer on him as well. Up here, got some posters and prints. It's just Ghost in the Shell, some different Marvel vs. Capcom and Street Fighter posters. They're based off the old arcade machines. It's really awesome. Here's some Ninja Turtle art prints. Those are by Dave Raposa. It's a really awesome artist. Here's just my kind of 12-inch and smaller figures in here. Some video game women. This is a series of video games on handheld PSP and Vita characters, and here is my Hellboy characters toy collection. It's kind of before I started collecting statues. I was collecting these guys. So those are really cool. Back here, I got some original art. Used by Eric Canetti. I commissioned these, so it's Venom, favorite character. It's Carnage, another one of my favorites. And then just Hellboy. This is a drawing by Travis Charest. He's one of my favorite artists. It's a small piece, but he doesn't have many originals for sale, so it's pretty cool. Here's an Iron Man original piece. Here's a Harley original. I'm trying to use every inch of wall space I got. Yeah. Alright, excuse me. Clear my throat. This is kind of cool. Here's my collection of Wizard magazine. This was like my life growing up as a teenager. I subscribed to these, and that's how I kind of learned everything about comics and pop culture was through that. Excuse me. Here's Wolverine and Sabretooth premium format. Love these two. Old school. Just speed up a little bit here. It's a Hellboy and Vampirilla Pf. This Hellboy I think is one of the best statues. ever made. It's really, really badass. This Vampirilla is badass too. I think it's a really freaking cool statue. There's my Doom on throne. This is a custom pedestal with it. I also did this custom fur. Love this piece. This is Venom and Carnage. Comcast, this right here is my favorite statue ever. Number 1. This is one of my wife's favorites, is the Carnage. And then up here is my Avengers display. So it's very particular, and you know, these are my favorite representations of each of these characters in statue form that have been done. So these are all Sideshow pieces. And then here's Alien and Predator. These are also my favorite Alien and Predator statues. You see this Alien is badass, man. It's really cool because you can see through the dome there. You can see the skull underneath. I've owned the Alien Warrior as well. I'm not a huge fan of that, and I know most of the reviews online that is people's favorites, but I don't know, it just didn't do it for me. And I had this and the Warrior in at the same time, and this by far exceeded it for me, so there was no question I kept this one. And then this is Predator, just stupid, awesome piece. This thing is crazy expensive, but it's crazy good. I think it's just on another level of statue. So you kind of get what you pay for with it, but you do got to pay a lot, and you got to make sure you really want it. But it's just badass piece. Almost done here. And here is some DC ladies. I have these by my desk. I got one spot over here too next to my monitor. I'll probably put something there eventually, I don't know. But it's kind of cool as I'm working. It's my workstation. I can have statues like surrounding me. I really got nothing bad to say about any of my statues. There's a reason why I buy them. There's a reason I keep them. I love them all. It's Canary, Zatanna, and Batgirl. I still need a Catwoman and Harley. Poison Ivy. That's my plan, is to have just the DC ladies there. Those are really badass pieces though. I think most of them are still available on Sideshow. I'm not sure. Harley. So my wife's a big fan of K2SO. That's a little hot toy. I think that's it though. So let me just give you a quick turn around of the room. Go. It's gonna go slow for you guys. By the way, that's a arcade machine I just bought for my wife. It's a game that she really likes. We first played it at Dave & Buster's. I feel the Magneto looks better here. Red's not all blown out. It's always hard to not have your colors all blown out on video. So yeah, man, the collection has been refined a lot, and it's been a long process, you know. It's hard to know exactly how to set up your display and what pieces to keep, what to buy right off the bat. It's kind of like a trial and error learning process, because no matter what, even if you build the perfect display, you'll end up like getting new statues and wanting to get different stuff, and then you're gonna have to change stuff out. It's definitely gone through an evolution for me. You know, my display was a lot more less clean before, but so now it's at a place where I don't really have much more I can do to it. It's just kind of, you know, buying and selling pieces as I go along. You know, I tend to like to have a little bit of character in my display. Hopefully that comes through. You know, varying sizes of cubes and shelves and all that kind of stuff. I think it just helps add a little character to it. I don't like things to be too uniform, but that's just me, my taste. Just try to give you guys one more different angle from over here. Also give you a close-up on this Predator. go. All right, we're just about down here. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. This definitely went longer than I thought, and I don't know if I'll ever do another one of these again. So this is just kind of my final farewell, but maybe I'll do another one. I don't know. We'll see. 2 or 3 more years down the road. Okay. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. And I really appreciate all the subscribes and likes and all that kind of stuff. So I will talk to you guys in the comment section, and good luck, happy collecting, and thanks a lot.